Hey guys, welcome to the 2 a.m. pipe on the patio. It's been a while. It has been brutally hot and humid here. It's 7:30 right now. It's 90 degrees, 54% humidity, and this is cool. It's been miserable here. So I've been trying to get my work done in the mornings. And then I'm in the house usually by noon in the air conditioning. Because it's just too hot and humid, and I'm trying to stay hydrated. And when it gets hot like that, it's easy to get dehydrated quick, and so I try to get my stuff done early, and then get into the air conditioning. So yesterday, Denny and I went to a minor league baseball game here. The Salem Red Sox played here, and the hospital Denny works for, Carillion, her new hospital she's working at, had employees night at the game. It was free tickets, free meal. It was really nice, and so we went to the game, and the tickets were general admission, which at a minor league game are fantastic seats. It was a sellout, 6,799 people at this game. It sold out. And but we had the general admission seats, and they were fantastic seats. They were just great seats. I mean, these would have been $70 seats in a major league stadium, because the stadium's just so small. They were great seats. And it was so much fun. They did so many things for the kids during the game itself, in the stands and on the field. At the bottom of every inning, they'd have the couple of kids come on the field, and they'd have like a bike race or some other little thing that they would do with, and they'd have adults doing stuff too, like getting inside the big old blow up balls, and then running at each other, and whoever got knocked down lost. And it was just fun stuff, and it was constant stuff going on. Lots of kids there, which was fantastic. And at the bottom of the eighth inning, they had a guy there he was named the Amazing Tyler, and he'd balance stuff on his nose and on his chin and on his forehead and whatever. He was balancing ladders and big long poles, and then he'd come in the stands, and he'd just balance anything anybody gave him. He'd balance, and it was just fun. The kids were loving it, and but he just worked the entire stadium the whole game, and but in the bottom of the eighth inning, the end of the eighth, he picked a kid out of the stands and he gave the kid a bucket of tennis balls. And he took a baseball bat and he balanced it on his chin, and the kid had to throw the tennis balls at him from 15-20 feet away and try and hit the bat with the tennis balls and knock it off his face. And the kid did it on the third throw, and man, that stadium erupted for that kid. It was amazing. It was just neat to see a minor league baseball game. I've always wanted to go to a minor league baseball game. And it's right here. I mean, it's less than 5 minutes from my house, the stadium. Beautiful. I'll show a picture right here. It's a gorgeous stadium. Beautiful view of the Blue Ridge Mountains behind it. And even though it was hot and muggy, where we were sitting, we had a gorgeous breeze. Just a beautiful breeze, which was really nice. And so we weren't too hot sitting there watching the game. It was a night game. It started at 7, about this time. Well, it was a little earlier than this. Started half hour ago. But it was just a gorgeous night. Beautiful night for baseball. Beautiful stadium. I had a blast. I just literally had a blast doing that. And it's nice to watch young baseball players playing the game for the love of the game, because it's A ball. It's not high minors or anything like that. So these guys are playing because they love the game. They're hoping someday to make their way up to Double A and Triple A, and then the big league team. And this is a minor league team of the Boston Red Sox here, and so there have been some great players who've come through this team. Mookie Betts, Hunter Pence. A lot of the Red Sox players started here. The homegrown players played here in Salem. So it's fun to watch them. I had a blast. I had just such a good time there. And I'm smoking I didn't say this, I'm smoking a Falcon. I just picked up this Falcon off eBay for, I think it was $15, and it came with this bowl. I'm still cleaning this bowl out, so I'm not using that one yet. I'm using this bowl that Newton Piper sent me many years ago, which is a nice big bowl, so I like this one a lot. And this one's a much smaller bowl, as you can see there. It's a much smaller bowl. But I have several bent Falcons, and I only have 2 straight Falcons, one of which I cannot locate. I don't know where it is. I've looked everywhere that I have pipes, and I can't find it. And it was the shillelagh, which I loved. It had the nice blue twisted pipe right here on it. I cannot find that anywhere. But I've looked everywhere that I have pipes and tobacco in the house, and it's nowhere. And it was my favorite falcon pipe, the blue shillelagh. So I wanted to get another straight one, and the price was right, and it works perfectly. Still need to clean it up a little bit more on the outside, but I cleaned the inside real good, but the outside still has some work to be done on it. I need to buff it up and stuff. But it's just been miserably hot and humid here. I want to thank everybody who's been reaching out to me to ask if I was okay. Everything's fine. I've had several people contact me, many people contact me asking me if I'm okay because I haven't done a video in so long. It's just been too hot to smoke. This is the first pipe I've smoked since my last video, so it's probably been 2-3 weeks since I've had a pipe. It's just been so hot and muggy. Even at night, it's 7:30 now, 20 to 8, and when I started the video it was 90 degrees, 54% humidity, and I got the fan going over here, so I'm getting some air blowing on me. Otherwise I'd be just in misery out here. But I've been working on, I came out here today and to work on some of my fishing gear. Sadie and Channing got me a gift certificate for Bass Pro Shop, and I bought a new rod, bait casting rod, and a new reel. First I bought the rod, and then I bought a loose speed spool reel for it, and then I saw a guy selling a whole bunch of fishing reels here in Roanoke on Marketplace. A guy named Ron, and he had a nice Shimano reel, bait caster, at a great price, so I messaged him and I went and got that, and I was talking to him, and he was an older guy, and he just, he told me, yeah, I'm having some health issues, and he goes, I've got a basement full of fishing gear, and he goes, I'm just selling stuff off because it gives me something to do instead of just waiting to die. And that hit me deep when he said that, and so we sat and talked for a little while, and neat guy. He had I guess a tracheotomy and had to use one of those machines to talk with, voice box machines. Nice guy, man, just a nice guy, but he's just said he's not doing well, and he's selling his stuff off to give him something to do, So we sat and talked for a while, and then when I got home I emailed him, and I said, hey, if you'd ever like to go out to lunch sometime and just talk fishing, I'd love to do that with you. And he said he'd like to do that. So he's got another reel I want to get from him. There's a bunch of reels for sale, but there's one I want to get from another Lou's reel. So I think we're going to meet up after the first when I get my check. And we'll, he said, let's talk about it next time we meet up. So, I love talking to old guys and old fishermen and learning from them, and there's always stuff to learn, and then I was in a little sporting goods store here. Not a little sporting goods store, but a big sporting goods store. And I was looking at reels, or at rods and reels, and picking up some hooks and stuff. And this other old guy comes up to me. We started talking about fishing, and he was fishing for muskies. He said there's a lot of muskies in the James River, and so he was buying some heavy braided line to go muskie fishing. And so I was asking him about that because I've never fished for muskie. I've never been any place that had muskie. I didn't even know they had muskies here. So I was asking him how he sets up his, his equipment for fishing for muskies. And he said, well, you got to have a stainless steel leader for muskies because they'll just bite right through anything else you use. But I guess the muskies are invasive. They're not natural to here, from what he was saying. Like he said, they've eaten almost all the small mouth bass in the area where they have muskies, because they just eat all the small fish. And the frogs. So he said they like you to fish for muskies and then take them out of the water when you get them, eat them. And I'm allergic to fish, so I don't eat any fish at all. I can eat shellfish, but I can't eat a regular fish, which is the opposite of what most people are. So I always catch and release. But he said if you catch a muskie, take it out. Don't put it back in. It would be fun to catch a muskie. I hear they fight a lot. So one of these days I'll have to go to the James and fish for some muskies. But it was neat talking to him. He was a neat older guy, and probably in his 80s, late 70s, early 80s maybe. Just loved to talk about fishing. And so that was kind of neat. And so the Shimano I got from Ron, the first guy, I gotta oil it up and take it apart and oil it and put some grease in it, stuff that needs to be greased. And it's an older Shimano. It's an older one, but they're good reels. I love Shimanos. So I've been watching videos on taking those reels apart and breaking them down completely and cleaning and oiling and lubing and everything those reels. So it's been kind of fun to watch those and saving the ones that I want to have saved so I can watch them again and again and really learn how to break those down. So most of the old bait casters I had were really old bait casters, and there wasn't much to those, and they were easy to take apart and lube and but and then I got to figure out a rack to put my poles on. Thinking of doing it on the garage. I saw some guys that did racks on their garage. They used a certain kind of hook, and they would just screw them into the doors. I don't know if it'll work on this one or not. I'll have to look closer at it. But they and then they would just hang their rods and I don't have a lot of rods. I have 3 rods. And now I used to have, back in California, I had about 30 rods and reels. But I gotta look for, once this table's out of here with all this wedding stuff on here, I'll have a whole wall where I can make racks. And then I'll have to buy more reels and rods when I have more room. But I usually did it up in the rafters at my old house and stuff. I had hooks coming down from the rafters, and I could just put my reels in them all across. Which I will probably wind up doing here, unless I can figure out a good... There's some PVC racks that guys are making that are pretty cool looking and seem to work really well. And Danny, River Rat, he does a really cool thing with pool noodles. So I may just try that. Put a pool noodle up with slits in it, and then you can just put the rods right into those pool noodles where the slits are, and it just holds them. Anyway, that's what's been going on here. That's why I haven't been around, and it's just been hot and miserable. I'm starting to hear the cicadas, which is cool. They're finally coming out. I hadn't heard them all year until this week. So this heat may have been what they needed to come out. And I love cicadas. I just love the sound of the cicadas and the katydids and the frogs, and lightning bugs are out. Lightning bugs are just magic. Man, if I'll never forget the first time I saw lightning bugs and how magical that was to me. You know, we never had them back home. And I didn't see them till I was driving across country and got into Nashville. Actually, St. Louis was the first place I saw him. Stopped and had dinner with my nephew in St. Louis. And he started pointing out up in the trees. He'd say, look up at the trees, you can see lightning bugs. And And then we went to Nashville, and when we got to Nashville, um, we went to the Loveless Cafe for dinner, and they were all over out there, just all over the place. But then when we moved here, the first summer we were here, I was smoking my pipe out on the patio, and all of a sudden I saw these flashing lights all over the yard. It's just magical, man. It is just magical. I remember being a kid and hearing stories of, the lightning bugs and the fireflies, whatever you want to call them. Kids catching them, putting them in a mason jar and putting them by their bed and watching them at night light up. I never did that because I didn't want to. I'd wind up killing them or something. So, but it's just neat watching them, and they're all over the yard, especially the front yard. Well, we had 3 adult turkeys and 16 baby chick turkeys come through the backyard the other day. I happened to see them out here in front, and they were going down the side of the house. And the next thing I knew, went into our living room, and I saw one of the adults fly up on the fence and then into the backyard, and then another one into the backyard, and here come all the little chicks following behind them. That was pretty cool to see. I had never seen lots of turkeys, wild turkeys here, but I've never seen the baby chicks, and there were so many of them, and the turkeys were huge. They were massive. These are the biggest turkeys I've seen. I didn't get any good pictures of them, but I just love being out here and in the backyard and the front yard and watching all the animals out here. We got a visit from a bear one day, and then the next couple days later, I think it was raccoons got into the trash because they didn't knock over the trash cans, so I figured those were raccoons or something. And I saw a groundhog. First groundhog I've seen on my property. He was just kind of cruising around. I came out the front door and saw him, and he took off running. Or she took off running. It wasn't a very big one. But I want to keep those away from the house because they can undermine your foundation. But I haven't seen any mounds anywhere where they're digging. So I'm assuming they're on the back hill, which is a great place for them to stay. I'll never forget the first time we saw a groundhog. We were in South Carolina, driving around, and saw this thing laying on the side of the road, and I didn't know what it was, so we stopped and took pictures of it. It was dead. I'd never seen a groundhog before, and then we were at this house, and I saw one in the backyard. And so I asked the lady who lived there, I said, "What is that? What is that?" She goes, "That's a groundhog." I said, "Ah, that's what it is." I'd never seen one. I didn't know what it was. But that dead one was ugly. Boy, it was an ugly thing. But when they're alive, they're kind of cute. I don't want one of them around my house, but they're kind of cute. So it's been just miserable here. I haven't mowed in 2 weeks now, and I need to get out and mow. And I'm not looking forward to it at all. I'm gonna have to piecemeal it because it's just so hot. I got to get out early in the morning and do the side yard and the backyard. Got to get done right now. The front yard I've done recently, and it's still looking okay. It's been so hot, nothing's really growing. The grass isn't growing. It's a few weeds coming up here and there, but the grass isn't growing. So I got to go down and just do a quick cut on the main meadow. But the side and the backyard got to get done. They're just out of control. Not out of control, but they just need to be done. But anyway, this one's been a long one. Too long, sorry. Maybe I'll cut this one in two. I'll see you guys later. Have a good one. God bless. Good to be back. Thanks for checking in on me. Hopefully we get some cooler weather soon. It's supposed to be up in the high 90s the rest of this week. I think it's supposed to rain tomorrow, which means it's going to be really hot and muggy. It's supposed to be about 94 and rain all day, which I hate. I love the rain, but not when it's 94 degrees. So anyway, I will catch you later. Have a good one. God bless you guys. It's good to be back. Catch you later.